All right. Take it away, Adam.
Hey, yeah. So as Alan was saying, I'm Adam Widder. I am a byproduct of Eagle Group. I have a lot to owe them my success and transition, if you call it that. And tonight I can just give back in some format to many of you and give you some clarity, give you some action steps. One of the things that I really struggled with through my transition was finding what's next. And it doesn't really get talked about because a lot of people are like, I need to make what I made in the military and I want to make this much and I want to do this, which is great if you know what you want to do. But I found a lot of people, once they're out of the military, they don't know what they want to do, or they end up switching a year or two later, as was my case. So a little bit about me. I did the whole ROTC thing down in Fort Riley and at 1ID. Did my 4 years. My wife and I knew it just wasn't right for our family, and so we decided to move on. From there began the process to figure out what's next. And the main thing that I, as a man, was concerned about was how do I afford the lifestyle that I want and provide for my family. So knowing what salary I had as a captain leaving the Army was kind of like where I earmarked it. And so I want to touch on the finance, and I want to also meld it into finding your why, because the two do go hand in hand, and they are kind of the linchpin that I feel like veterans kind of struggle with in the job search once they leave, because they had really good benefits. You do in the military, you have great benefits, you're paid, well. Once you get out, you might see, oh man, I was doing pretty well when you compare tax returns. Anyway, so I want to discuss how those two go in together. But what was the dollar amount we needed to continue our lifestyle? And then what was the dollar amount I wanted to sacrifice to do a job I love? Our concerns when we left the military was we did not want to get hand roped into jobs, the golden handcuffs per se, of jobs that we didn't like, because we didn't want to work 40 hours a week and hate our life. That's just no way to live your life, and we were passionate about that. So again, what is the dollar amount we wanted to sacrifice to do a job I love? But what is that dollar amount that I need to have to afford the lifestyle I want? Kind of hinges over that, right? Because you want to be able to do your lifestyle that you've had, or go for the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. So then that kind of turned into, what salary will I accept to have a job I truly enjoy? So three kind of questions I was bouncing around in my head. And how I got there was no easy mindset battle and transition, probably like many of veterans. So I'm going to share some of my experiences, just how it kind of unfolded for me. So in 2019, they started this program, the Department of, I can't remember, one of the departments did, but it's called Hiring Our Heroes. So I heard of this, and they said, hey, it was some crazy high percentage, like 98% of our veterans get a job after the ETS. And I was like, at the salary they want. And I was like, perfect. That's what I need. That's my question. I'm going to do this program, and it's going to solve my problems. I did it. In short, Hiring Our Heroes, they match you with mostly Fortune 500 companies in the area who want to hire veterans in a field that you wanted to do it in. So I ended up choosing Pepsi. They have a big plant here in Minnesota, in Burnsville, where they produce a lot of water and Pepsi and Mountain Dew and ship it all over. The second day on my internship, while I was on active duty, I did that. And as a side note, if anybody has any questions about Hiring Our Heroes, or if you've heard about it and you want to know how it works, I'll give you my contact information here at the end, and let's chat. The second day I was at Pepsi, I knew that it wasn't for me, and I had to stick it out for this 3 months and do this job that I just wasn't thrilled about. So immediately I was like, I can't accept this job, and I know that I'm not going to be able to continue doing this. Like, it's not feasible for my mindset. Ended up getting offered with them, and I ended up turning it down. And a lot of people would be like, that's silly. You should have just taken the money and run with it. But my wife and I, we were very firm. Hey, we're not going to get golden handcuffs. And some steps that we did to achieve that. And this is kind of where the finance comes into it. And my biggest suggestion is to veteran is, hey, what are your living expenses? What are your living expenses that you envision to be where you're going? So if you're coming to Minnesota, what's your rent going to be? What do you think your food's going to be? You know, kind of do some ballpark estimating on what you think those monthly costs are going to look like. You know, if you have kids, it's going to look a lot different than, you know, if you're a single guy. But what is your lifestyle that you need for your monthly income? And then, hey, if you're living on a beans and rice diet, what can your income actually be if you're living super, super frugal below your means? So 2 kind of incomes that you want to achieve. Next, set aside 6 months of that frugal one. And if you can, that, hey, we're living normally like we have a job and everything's great. Set that aside in a savings account because that gives you financial runway that you can afford to take time so you're not in these golden handcuffs. So my wife and I did that. And that kind of gave us the power, if you will, to kind of be picky for a certain amount of time before we had to accept a job that maybe we weren't super thrilled about. Anyways, so once I went back to Pepsi, I was like, I can't do it. I ended up turning it down. It ended up being kind of what Hire Our Hero said. It was similar to my captain's salary, I think a little bit above actually, which was great. But once I knew I wasn't going to do it, I started like, well, I got to find another job that makes what I made as a captain. So I looked at insurance, banking, project management. I did these certifications. Nothing was really sticking. Wasn't really like I get interviews. My sister worked in insurance, so I figured, hey, if she's got a similar brain to me, I'm sure I'll like it, right? And she's making really good money. Interviewed a couple times with Travelers, nothing stuck, never got a job. Ended up interviewing with Wells Fargo through a risk position. Got the job as soon as got the offer. As soon as I got the offer, I had a pit in my stomach and I was like, nope, no, this one's not right either. So then I was kind of at this point and I was like, what am I doing that I'm just getting these pits in my stomach where nothing is where my mind thinks I should be. And it turned out I was networking with many of the men in Eagle Group and having these discussions with them. And one of the gentlemen just said, well, if they could pay you to do nothing, what would you do? And I was like, well, I'd love to work in real estate. And those are the jobs I keep looking at on LinkedIn and Indeed, but I never apply for because frankly, I feel like I'm not qualified. And he said, well, let's rethink that. And Alan and some other gentlemen, other veterans in the area helped me kind of rework that resume to show that I actually did have the skills qualified to work in real estate. As soon as I leaned into what I knew I wanted to do, what the back of my head was telling me to do, everything just started to clicking. It was crazy. The first job I applied for with a real estate firm here in the Twin Cities, I got an interview while we were on vacation, and then got another interview after that. Didn't get that job, but hey, I knew I was going in the right direction. Everything became so much easier. It was easier to say, hey, I want to be in real estate. This is what I want to do. I had my elevator pitch down. I could tweak my resume in a matter of minutes to apply for another real estate job. I could network easily because I already knew the questions that I wanted to ask. I didn't have to think hard about it, right? It just became some, and then sure thing from group, just, you know, what you hear of networking, you find a job. That was my story. Ended up 2 people removed from my network. I found the person hiring for a commercial property management role, and I got it. That being said, I was sacrificing a ton for my income. I took about a 25% pay cut to go to a job I was truly excited about. And this is where I want to really touch on here is we took a job, we sacrificed, and I took a huge pay cut. It was a very humbling experience, but I was super excited to do the job. So when that happened, though, I was excited to be there. I'm working hard. I'm working my butt off. 6 months later, I get a 10% raise. 6 months after that, another 10% raise and a promotion. If you follow the fire, absolutely kill it in your job, absolutely put yourself out there, work hard, they're going to recognize that, because in the civilian world, they hire, or they should hire, based on your expertise and qualifications, not time and service. So I was immediately picking up new concepts. I was working hard. I was showing I wanted to be there, right place, right time, right uniform, doing the right thing, and absolutely working hard, and it paid dividends. So then I was pretty much at the salary that I wanted to be in, and it worked out. I was happy. After doing that job for about a year and a half in real estate, I ended up switching because that job became an intro to real estate per se, and I saw the different avenues that I wanted to go, and that's what led me to where I am today. And today, I'm with Keller Williams. I'm a realtor. I absolutely love helping people find their dream homes, their investments. It's a much different conversation than, hey, Adam, toilet's leaking, can you fix it? Like, I get to tell people, let's go get you a house, or let's sell your house. And so it lights me up inside. And that's the one thing I want you all to know is follow the fire, follow what lights you up. What I want to leave here with before, and then we can open up for any questions or comments, is some steps just to take. Immediately start saving up 6 months of living expenses. If you're in the military now, when you're going to ETS and you're concerned about what kind of lifestyle you're going to have, and you don't want to jump into a job that you hate, give yourself some runway. That's going to give you some breathing room, some acknowledgement of, okay, we can take this time for ourselves where we know we have 6 months, we're not going to die. We have enough for insurance, our cars, our house, we're safe, right? A family is okay. That's going to give you the freedom of mind to really go after that job that you care about and what's telling you in your gut that you need to do and you need to follow. Next up, ask yourself, what lights you up? Follow the fire. Where can I earn an acceptable income and enjoy your job? There's an avenue there where those cross. So find that and you will most likely be happy. From my experience, you will. Then lastly, third point here, share what you're looking for. Once you figure that out, tell everybody in Eagle Group and those doors will fling open. The two people removed from my network, the guy worked at US Bank in the risk department. He said, oh, I got a buddy who works at the US Bank real estate department. Talk to that guy. And he's like, yeah, I used to work with a guy 20 years ago. He now owns a commercial real estate firm here in the Twin Cities. And that's who ended up hiring me. Then lean on that network here in Eagle Group and the other veterans to help you find that position. They're going to move walls for you just through opening doors, and then tweak your resume for each job and network like crazy, and you'll do great. So that's what I'm excited to talk to you guys about today. If you have a question, just drop it in the chat or go ahead.